Hey, what's up? Today I want to answer a question of how much room do you need to take off in a paramotor? And these things are sweet because they're really relatively low cost compared to general aviation. They can fold up in your car. You don't need a 1,000-foot runway. You can take off in a field like this. And everything packs down. It's pretty low maintenance, which is one of the biggest costs for aviation. And you don't need any crazy licensing. Basically, just don't fly in controlled airspaces and don't do anything crazy. Use common sense. Today is a great day to answer that question of really how much room you need, because it's real low wind outside. Obviously, if there's a headwind or say like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, these things fly at around 20, 30 miles an hour. That would shorten your distance. So it's perfect. We got no wind outside, and we got a pretty typical setup. I got my SP140 here, pretty good, powerful motor, and we got our lightweight wing here. So this is a hybrid wing, so it's a pretty lightweight wing, and it's a medium size, and I'm about 180 myself. So this will give us a good idea of really how much room do we need to take off, right? But it's not just the feet, like how long are you running, right? It's also what kind of margins do you need to turn out. So I'm gonna strap in here and kind of give you a typical takeoff, right? And I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. It's gonna be pretty good safety margins. This is probably what I would recommend for most people, right? Because you can take off in a shorter distance, but the trees are pretty far out, right? We don't have anything too close to us, and we have room to like abort or stop taking off if we need to. All right, so I'm gonna get strapped in here to my motor. Got my wing laid out. So we're gonna slide our motor on here, stand up. We'll go ahead and buckle in. And one of the best things about this is just the setup time. It's really low setup time. Probably only takes 3 to 5 minutes to take it out of my car and lay it out. Grab our controller. You can see we've got a nice full battery. And you guys can kind of get an idea of maybe how far I run here. So you can kind of see I'm by my car. If I had to guess, I'm gonna run about 60 feet here before I kind of launch. But here we go. So pop my wing up, add a little bit of throttle, lean back, and I'm off. So right there, I'm off. It's hard to hear me probably, but right there I was off, and it's not too far. We'll go ahead and fly over our LZ here. So you can see, if I had to guess, we took off right about here and launched right about there. But that wasn't a crazy takeoff or anything. Nothing too tight. I'm not applying a lot of power. Wait, is that a skunk? Yeah, it's a skunk. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the trees as a reference point for you guys. So I'm gonna turn into it, and we're gonna be at the bottom of the trees. I'm gonna level out, just so you get an idea. And the trees are about 50 feet. So if I say I just took off, we're a couple feet off the ground, I powered up, I could be above the trees relatively quickly, right? But usually that's not my climb out. I usually climb out much more subtly, just because I do have the room. Since there's a low wind, we can just land whatever direction we want. So I'll just land like this, and maybe we'll try to reset up at the top of this hill. I'll land with power, just for fun. So there, I'm gonna flip around, get our wing set up for another launch. It's like, okay, that's cool flight and all, but how much room did you actually use up? You know what I mean? I'll cut to yesterday's footage where we actually measured out with a tape measure. We did multiple takeoffs to get a reference point. We had my brother and I were both taking off, different skill levels. We're both using the same wing, but and I even got a little bit of drone footage to kind of see what it really takes and maybe how much room you really need. Say you take off a little bit tighter and do like a spiral on takeoff. He sent his light through the prop. So he did it. Yeah, it's like kind of right about here. This is right at the edge of the grass. I saw something get dinked, and I was like, "What is that?" One's a new pilot, and that's a pretty good, pretty tight area to take off of. I'd say that's probably the tightest I'd like to go even comfortably. Got the tape measure. This one's only a 16-footer, so we're gonna have to do multiple measuring points. And I think the best place to measure it is from the wing. So the tip of the wing, even though he stands like right there and pops the wing up there, this is really the area you need. So if we imagine just a box, a takeoff box that he needs, this would be the starting point. And we'll measure this baby out. And we'll measure another 16 out. We'll measure another 16. Wish I had a longer tape measure. Set her down, measure another 16, and another 16. And I already forget how many 16s, but yeah, this is perfect right here. So this is like right on the edge of the tall grass.
It's so warm out.
It's so warm out, he says. Flying smooth. Yeah, beautiful. Wow, he's really quiet on that thing. But yeah, that's how long. What's up? A little too short. Whew.
Frick, my flip-flops.
Flip-flops takeoff. Oh, you could have lost a couple feet in takeoff right there. You think yardage? I measured it out. You took off right at the edge of the grass.
If I was gonna hit a chip shot, I'd
Yeah.
probably swing about no more than 40 yards.
Yeah, it's 32 yards.
Yeah, I was gonna say like mid-30s.
Basically,
maybe.
just under 100 feet. It was at 96 feet. Yeah, 96 feet is probably the ideal takeoff distance. You can take off a little bit shorter. I probably took off a little bit shorter, but he's new pilot, not too many hours. It's probably what, your 10th, 20th, I don't know, 15th takeoff? I don't know.
Yeah, probably not double digits.
Yeah, a lot easier to take off with a single surface or like a hybrid. Yeah, so 96 feet to take off, 32 yards, and then you basically have to figure out your climb rate and kind of your margin for safeties. Okay, here's a top-down view to maybe give you guys a better idea of kind of what's needed. So here I am taking off, my feet just leave the ground there, and then I'm doing a turn. So you can see I'm just going to spiral up and climb. So this would kind of be the box size that you would need. Also, I place a 2 foot by 2 foot square out in the grass so we can use that to help us measure the distance needed after takeoff. So to answer the question, how much room do you need to take off? For me, it's about 100 yards. 100 yards by 100 yards box. 33 of those yards are just kind of running to get my feet off the ground. The other 66 are just climbing out. It's kind of a 3-time safety factor. But yeah, that's kind of on my typical setup. That's what you'd expect maybe if you're getting into it, and that's what I'd look for in a field or something like that. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.